Our first guest is a very talented actor and comedian, as well as best-selling author. How about that, Paul? A hat trick right there.
I love it, yes.
This is his new book entitled Revolution, and it'll be in stores tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Russell Brand. Here he is. Welcome back, Russell. How about that? How does that make you feel? Like a winner.
I feel so jubilant after that racket.
Yeah.
People are pumped after all the stuff got chucked off the roof.
Yes, they're excited, but more or less to see you.
Well, that's also enchanting. Perhaps we could, if I hurl myself off the roof, we could peek.
Well, then we'd have it. Let me ask you a question. It says in the notes that you have been clean for 11 years. Now, I don't know you well enough to know what you were before 11 years ago. What were you before you got clean, as they say?
Dave, 11 years ago, when I was still taking drugs, I was a whirling psychotic, a frequenter of crack houses, whore houses. I was a lunatic. I was ever in jail cells. I was forever in all sorts of mischief and mirth, spraying blood everywhere, broken glass, crying women everywhere I went. But some nights I just stayed in.
Oh, sure, you can't burn your candle at both ends. You got to stay in every now and then. But now let me ask you this. What started you off on the road to consumption of drugs?
Inside of the old self, me, from where I emanate, I felt a disconnect and a bit of misery. I felt like I was living in a culture where there were no values, where there was a sort of a disconnection. Also, man, I love getting high.
Mm-hmm. You're not a very old person now. How old were you when you started the drug use?
Like normal age, sort of 16.
16.
Before I embraced addiction.
Mm-hmm. What was your first experience with drugs?
I mean, like the very first, like every drug I took, I greeted like a lover. The first time I had marijuana, I thought that was like magnificent. I loved it. The first time I took LSD, I loved escaping into this prism of new consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
When I first took heroin, it's like a lovely, snuggly, warm cuddle that ruins your life.
Wow. Wow. Well, now, let me ask you another question. If, let's just say, for the sake of the conversation, you were taking these drugs to fill an empty spot in you, or so you may have thought, how do you feel now, after 11 years, that you're not filling that spot with these drugs?
Right. Well, OK, now I have to be serious, and that makes me feel vulnerable, Dave.
Do what you can. You're among friends.
OK. What it is the reason I was taking them drugs was because, as I mentioned before in that monologue that I'd done about 5 minutes ago, I said there was an emptiness within, then you reiterated, you recapped it, you praised it. And what I've done now is through the help of other drug addicts, through helping them and them helping me, through a connection to a higher power, a higher consciousness, some people call it God, I feel relieved of that. Not God in some sort of weird, boring, judge other people way, God in a kind of sexy, look at my hair way.
I see. Look at my hair kind of way, God. Now, 11 years. Is every day a struggle, or is this all behind you?
Sometimes the feelings that led me to take drugs in the first place sometimes cause me to become obnoxious, difficult, a show-off, self-involved, or overly kinky. But I've found ways of resolving those problems, primarily through kinkiness.
Yeah. Now, can you be around people who are using drugs?
Say someone starts taking heroin, I'll go, are you sure about all this? Once I had to help someone, I had to hold the spoon for someone while they had some heroin. I thought, this can't be right. Can't be healthy for me.
No.
You know, so yeah, in a way I have to be cautious. Alcohol, I can kind of stand to be around it. Sort of marijuana, I prefer not to.
You can't drink at all. You can't drink, can't drink.
Can't even drink. I can't do anything. I'm like I'm trying to get all my kicks just basically out of this shirt and how it feels on my nipples.
Yeah. Tell me about it. But But do you like a lot of people when they come through recovery, they become you run or you exercise? Do you do a lot of that?
I do a hell of a lot of exercise. I do a hell of a lot of yoga. I spend
yoga.
Yoga, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ever so flexible, not psychologically or emotionally. I'm a tyrant, but anatomically, I can do pretty much whatever I want. disgusting little circle of self-satisfaction.
Thank you. Now, and what about meditation? Have you tried meditation?
Yeah, I do a type of meditation called transcendental meditation, where you say a word again and again and again in your own mind until eventually your chattering mind, which has been conditioned by the culture we live in to always be after something or scared of something, just connects to a different aspect of yourself, and it's quite beautiful. It takes longer than heroin, but you don't have to go to prison as much.
Now, were you in prison?
I never served... I could see, like, what, do you not think I would fare well?
I didn't,
Hello, welcome to Sing Sing. Oh, look at you.
No,
you look a bit rough.
I don't.
I'm not sleeping in a cell with him. He's a bully. No, I've spent a lot of time in jail cells, but I never served a custodial sentence by the grace of God yet.
Yeah. Well, you know, this all brings us to one thing. Congratulations on your life. You have conquered it. You have been down, you have been up, and you seem to be doing very well now.
Thank you for this. Is this a counselling session?
Well, no. Now, the book, The Revolution, what is the revolution about? What are we revolting against? What needs to be changed? What is should be different in your mind?
When I went back to the place where I'm from, Grays, it weren't that nice when I grew up there. Just to give you an image of it, it's like the people are really lovely, but the place stinks, like New Jersey, maybe. So, like, I'm not saying the people, what you love the ambience, the factories, the low expectations, the tyranny. I'm saying I'm the same as you. I'm not different from you. I'm saying we can do better, just with a revolution. Now, when I went back to that place, I thought, hold on a minute, it weren't that good when I was there when I was a kid. It's got even worse now. Desperation, toothlessness, drunk, staggering around. That was just my mother. It wasn't her at all. It's patronising when I hear that noise. I don't know how you live with that.
Yeah.
So I went back there and I thought, oh my God, for everyone else who hasn't had the privileges that I've had, the good fortune that I have, the shirt, the nipples that I have, they're still living like this. It doesn't seem at all fair to me, particularly when there is so much wealth around. You're told there's no money, you're told there's no resources, but the 85 richest people on the planet have as much money as 3.5 billion people. The 6 Walmart heirs have as much money as 150 million Americans. Who is expressing these views, these ideas? No one ever will, because our politicians work for big businesses. They've got no interest in representing the people, so I thought, write a book about it, and then I've done it.
Wow. That's not decaf, is it? But you know, now here I agree with you completely. And the thing that rubs me the wrong way, I don't have as much knowledge specifically as do you. But in this country, 350 million Americans, the most powerful, the most wealthy country on the planet, 30 million people are food deprived. How? It's the same thing, same dynamic. How is that possible? Here's something in our own neighborhood we can relate to, not on a global basis, but right here in this country.
It's because I think we, as a people, have become disenchanted and disenfranchised. We don't have the kind of connections with one another that we ought naturally have, and we have a political service that doesn't serve us, that doesn't connect to us, because it's there. Like, there's too much money in politics. What would you
suggest? What is the alternative?
I would say, well, personally, I would say any issue that's bothering you, if you feel like you're paying too much rent or you're not happy in the place that you work, collectivise, organise, like the gorgeous hunky Teamsters here, who I think should double as strippers of an evening. I think that come together to confront these issues. Now, like me personally, I don't think change can come from within the political system, because I think it's entrenchant. I think these people have a revolving door between Wall Street and Washington, and they represent one another's interests. I think wherever you find a campaign that interests you, like the fast food workers of America are striking now. In my country, people are demanding lower rents because ordinary people are being forced out of the cities and in all sorts of places. I think join in any campaign that affects your life, and most importantly, I think communicate in a different way. I don't know when this happened, when we were turned into consumers instead of citizens. You lot already did one revolution to kick out a group of people who taxed you without representing you, and now it's happening again.
But then, is it... But what about the version of so-called democracy that Vladimir Putin espouses? What do you do in that situation?
I don't know what to do about that Putin. He's butch, isn't he? Very macho man. Like someone who's that confident in nipples that are so unappealing, I can't vote for him. It's so cold in here.
3 times he's invoked that.
It's not like you don't invoke nipples. They're not deities. They can only really extend. There he is. By God.
Well, the new book is Revolution, ladies and gentlemen. It's the clean and sober Russell Brand. Always a pleasure, my friend. Good to see you.